10:47 on the 28th of March, 2026. You are looking at Messier 96 and clouds. We have a 9 or 10-day moon of it's gibbous anyway. I've already determined it won't be in the pathway for the NGC 3350 to 3399 series this evening. I'm hoping to get this done. Now, I made a boo-boo the other night. I forgot that I hadn't already completed 3350 to 3399, so I have already covered and put in the queue for after the release of this video 3400 to 3499, a full century. Let me give you some data on this. This is an intro study. What I'm going to do is these studies that we're going to be looking at are so far to the east that I can probably spread them out over the next hour. So what I'll do is I'll just keep an eye on the cloud banks and then try to squeeze them in as I have done once before. Messier 96, a galaxy in Leo, magnitude 9.3, 7.8 by 5.2 arc minutes. Some 38 million light years distant means it's probably somewhere around 90,000 light years in diameter. Fairly well sized for a local galaxy. I consider anything local that's, let's say, 65 to 70,000 light years distant or less. Its right ascension is 1046.45, declination 1149.10. Now, when I say local, I'm not meaning the local group. That only spreads out about 10 million light years in space, and the largest galaxy of which within the local group is Messier 31 at about 150,000 light years in diameter and 2.5 million light years away. Anyway, that's our first look at 2 minutes in. Let's move on and see if we can find some more sky holes. Okay, here's our first cloud hole of the evening. It's for a galaxy in Leo Minor, NGC 3350, magnitude 14.3, small, 0.5 by 0.5 arc minutes. I think we can make it out there. It is a lenticular spiral with an annularity 464 million light years distant. That's about the same distance as Messier 31 would be at 150,000, but it would be 1 arc minute in size. So this one's about 75,000 light years in diameter at RA 1044.22, declination plus 30 degrees, 43 minutes, 29 seconds. And this series will be about 15 degrees before the moon, which is a good thing, so we don't have to worry too much about colliding with it in the series. Hey, if you're interested, this is what passing clouds look like when illuminated by the moon. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you about NGC 3351, a galaxy in Leo. And then I'm going to run it up a little bit to 105x and pause. Okay, resuming, because there's a big opening up of the sky, and we should be seeing that disclose more of NGC 3351, a galaxy in Leo. As I give you your data, it's also known as Messier 95. It was a galaxy on the limits of detection. I believe Pierre Messier may have discovered it through a 4-inch refractor at about 100x. M95 is magnitude 9.7, 7.3 by 4.4 arc minutes, spiral with a bar and a lowercase b. 30 million light years distant means it's probably only about 60,000 light years in diameter. RA is 1043.57 with a declination of plus 11 degrees, 42 minutes and 12 seconds. Things haven't cleared up as much as I'd like, so I'm going to pause until it does so, and we'll get a final decent look. Well, the clouds may have parted, but there may be high, thin moisture in the atmosphere, and it is being excited by the moon, which probably lies within about, looking at the scope, maybe 10 degrees of Messier 95. So let's move on. At least we've got the data. Okay, NGC 3352 is a ways further from the moon. It's a galaxy in Leo, magnitude 12.6, 1.6 by 1.2 arc minute, lenticular. 261 million light years distant, puts it about over 100,000 light years in diameter. RA is 1044.14 with a declination of plus 22 degrees, 22 minutes and 15 seconds. I was going to say that tonight the advantage may fall to deep south studies further away from the moon. However, I do believe we're in a diffraction bar that's being illuminated by the moon. We can look for the drifting of clouds. We're down at NGC 3355, a galaxy in Hydra, magnitude 14.2. Couldn't identify it in the field without going to adventuresindeepspace.com or theskylive.com. It's magnitude 14.2, very large, 2.8 by 1.8 arc minutes, spiral with a lowercase d. This galaxy is quite diaphanous and probably has an average surface brightness of somewhere around magnitude 15.5. It's 53 million light years distant, so relatively a smallie, maybe 35,000 light years in diameter. Right ascension is 1041.26 with a declination of minus 23 degrees, 23 minutes. I'm going to adjust the histogram a little bit. Let's see if that does us any good. Tough galaxy to find that far south anyway. At least we have the data. NGC 3356 isn't too bad. I'm going to go to auto mode. I do believe we're seeing the galaxy right there. Very diaphanous galaxy in Leo, magnitude 13.3, 1.7 by 0.8 arc minutes. Spiral with a lower BC, so it does have a core, but it's not very present there. 279 million light years distant, means it's about 125,000 light years in diameter. RA is 1044.12 with a declination of plus 645.31, pretty close to the moon. I'm going to do a little histogrammic adjustment. I do believe we're now making out the core. Then I've suppressed the background light a little bit, and it does seem to have a frontier, but it's not an annular galaxy, a ring galaxy. It's got a neighbor way up here with a slightly brighter core. And that is to the south and the east, probably about 10 arc minutes. Okay, leaving my user-defined histogram set points, we're now looking for NGC 3357, a galaxy in Leo. I do believe we found it. It's a 12.6 magnitude, 1.3 by 1.2 elliptical, 438 million light years distant, maybe 170,000 light years in diameter. RA is 1044.20 with a declination of plus 14 degrees, 5 minutes, and 3 seconds. Let's try the auto histogram and see what happens. And there we go. NGC 3360 is next to the diffraction bar of a power line. I believe the galaxy is identifiable right there. It's in sextants, magnitude 13.7, 1.2 by 0.9 arc minutes, spiral with a lowercase c. That seems to have a bit more of a core. This one looks more likely. 377 million light years distant, maybe 110,000 light years in diameter. Right ascension 1044.16 with a declination of minus 11 degrees, 14 minutes, and 34 seconds. Hey, not too shabby for a 10-day moon, I believe, and a 13.7 magnitude galaxy at a minus 11 degrees near a power line diffraction. Hey, at least we're seeing it. And yes, NGC 3361 had a neighbor, NGC 3362. Okay, I reinitialized the stack, so it should take a little bit, especially with all this to clear out. I believe this was 60. Yeah, it's unlikely to be 62 because it should be further. Let's get the data first. NGC 3361 should be further east than 60, and that would be, it should be further in this direction. It's magnitude 12.8, 2.1 by 1.2, spiral with a bar and a lowercase c. Okay, this may have been NGC 3360, and this is likely to be 61 because I do see a bit of a bar in the middle of the galaxy. It is 84 million light years distant, puts it at around 50K in diameter. RA is 1044.29 with a declination of minus 11.12.28. And there's a few more stacks. And there is 150x view. Okay, we can see a few clouds drifting past NGC 3362, a galaxy in Leo. Those clouds are being illuminated, of course, by a neighboring moon. 3362, magnitude 12.8, kind of 1.4 by 1.1 arc minute, spiral with a lowercase c. I do believe it's right there in the middle of the field. It's 300, excuse me, 380 million light years distant, so probably about 175,000 light years in diameter. RA is 1044.51 with a declination of plus 6 degrees, 35 minutes, 46 seconds. NGC 3363 is a little further from the moon. I believe we've got the galaxy centered up there. Let's see if that corresponds to the description. Galaxy in Leo, magnitude 13.3, 1.3 by 0.8, a little bit oblate. I believe that's the case. Not much. This one has more of a core, though. I don't like it being a C, so it may not actually be our galaxy, but I'm not really seeing much else in the field. There's something very vague there. But let's check out that ratio, 1.3 to 0.8. I'm still not convinced there's anything else in the field, but it's difficult this evening, which is a nice test. Spiral C, 260 million light years distant, maybe 85,000 light years in diameter. RA 1045.09, declination plus 2204.42. While we're navigating, we got 14 stacks. That looks pretty good. NGC 3365 is apparent in the field. However, I seem to have lost it. Okay, I'm going to try my own histogram setting, see if we can bring it out. We tell you about it anyway. 3365, galaxy in sextants, magnitude 12.6. I do believe we're seeing it because it's 4.5 by 0.8 arc minutes. We are getting a slice of a galaxy right there. Okay. Spiral lowercase c, not much of a core, 43 million light years distant. That puts it at about maybe 60,000, 65,000 light years diameter. Right ascension 1046.12, declination 1 degree, 48 minutes, 46 seconds. I'm going to let it go ahead and capture a few more before I bail on it. Okay, boosted it to 150x. We've got 15 stacks. I think it's more present in the field. It'd be a good one to return to on a clear, dark night. NGC 3367 is quite visible in the middle of the field. It's a galaxy in Leo, magnitude 11.5, 2.5 by 2.4 arc minute, pretty much face on, spiral with a bar lowercase c. It does seem to have a core, and we can see its frontier. 135 million light years distant puts it at about 100,000, maybe a little less than 100,000 light years in diameter. RA 1046.34 with a declination of plus 13.45 and 0 seconds. And here is 150x, 100% e-zoom view. NGC 3368 is pretty bright. I bet you can tell it's probably a Messier, and you'd be correct. It's also known as Messier 96, magnitude 9.3, 7.8 by 5.2, arc minutes in size, spiral with a bar, lowercase ab, and an annularity, which means I typically run it right up to 150x. Where it right is 38 million light years distant, means it's probably about a little less than 100,000 light years in diameter, so relatively large for a Messier. RA is 1046.45, declination plus 11 degrees, 49 minutes and 12 seconds. I'm going to put it on auto and see what it does. Yes, auto histogram does bring things out a little bit, but loses that aesthetic. Okay, we've gone deep south now. The sky is clearing up pretty well, except for that moonlight. We're looking for NGC 3369, a galaxy in Hydra. There's a power line bar probably. Ooh, how about that? Magnitude 13.6, 1.4 by 0.8 arc minute, lenticular spiral, looks promising. 161 million light years distant, puts it at about 70,000 light years in diameter. RA 104644 with a declination of minus 25 degrees, 14 minutes and 39 seconds. Okay, I waited around for a few more stacks. Here's probably a better candidate for magnitude 11. Oh, well, I'm on the Leo one now, so that's probably more likely to be our 3369. Okay, got to speed up now. NGC 3370 is a galaxy in Leo. I do believe it's visible. Magnitude 11.6. 2.9 by 1.7, spire with a lowercase c, 59 million light years distant, RA 104704, declination plus 17, 16, 24. NGC 3371, we got a couple of bright galaxies here. It's also called NGC 3384. It's magnitude 9.9, 5.4 by 2.7 arc minutes, an elliptical class 7, 33 million light years distant. RA is 1048.16 with a declination of plus 12, 37.46. That's 84. And we'll probably be seeing this one as well. But there's no Messier designation on it, so this is probably 84 right here. Okay, I do believe that last one must have been a Messier, but it didn't state it. This next one is, oh man, I just fumble-fingered. Hold on. Okay, that last view was NGC 3371. It's also 3384, which got a little bit confusing. We should be progressing to another galaxy in a bit, but a little complicated there. Okay, our next study is this one here, NGC 3373, which is also 3389. And let's zoom in. It's magnitude 11.9. Let's make sure we get the type. No, this is going to prove to be this one here. 3389's magnitude 11.9. It's a spire with a lowercase c. Well, that makes sense. 2.9 by 1.3 arc minutes. Good. 58 million light years distant. RA 1048.28 with a declination of plus 12, 31.58. Thought I'd give you an optimized view of the last series of 3 galaxies. This is a Messier, then we had our 2 NGCs. NGC 3374 is a galaxy in Ursa Majoris. It's probably this one here. Magnitude 13.7, 1.3 by 0.9. Spire with a bar, lowercase c. Well, could be 332 million light years distance. Got a tiny core and a frontier. Right ascension 1048.01, declination plus 43 degrees, 11 minutes and 9 seconds. Here we go. Optimized histogram. NGC 3375 is likely to be this galaxy here with a bright star-like core. It's a galaxy in sections, magnitude 12.6, 1.6 by 1.2 arc minute, lenticular spiral, makes sense, 109 million light years, RA 1047, declination minus 956. Optimized histogram. NGC 3376 is a galaxy in sextants. Magnitude 13.8 by 0.4, spiral with peculiarities, 263 million light years, RA 1047.26 with a declination of plus 6, 02.51. Histogram adjustment. NGC 3377, galaxy Leo, quite bright. Magnitude 10.4, large. 4.3 by 2.6 arc minute, elliptical. 30 million light years distant, RA 1047.42 plus 1359.07. And that histogrammic adjustment due to the moon. NGC 3377 has a neighbor, A, not likely to be this one, too far away. It's a magnitude 13.6 galaxy, spire with a bar 2 by 2 arc minutes. That can possibly be it. No, it makes no sense at all. But I'm looking around and I'm not seeing much of a neighbor. I'm just going to frame them both up. 25 million light years distant, RA 104722 with a declination of plus 140413. Moving on. Okay, now we're back to it. These were kind of out of order. This is NGC 3379, Galaxy in Leo, magnitude 1, Messier 105. It's 9.3, magnitude 5.3 by 4.8. I'm going to go to 150x on it, frame them all. Elliptical class 1, 37 million light years distant, RA 104749, declination plus 123454. Now you know why these two ended up with a higher NGC number, because they were further to the east of Messier 105 at NGC 3379. NGC 3380 was visible in the 30x field. It's a galaxy in Leo Minor, magnitude 12.5. 1.6 by 1.4 arc minutes, spiral with bar, lowercase a, brightish core, 72 million light years, RA 104812 with a declination of plus 283606. Optimized histogram. NGC 3381 is a galaxy in Leo Minor, quite present on the field. Magnitude 11.7, 2 by 1.8 arc minutes, spiral with bar with peculiarities, must be interactive, 76 million light years distant, RA 104824, declination plus 344241. Histogram change, anyone? NGC 3383 is galaxy in Hydra. Diffraction bar from a power line, visible. It's we're going to have to pick it out, though. All right, pretty far south, magnitude 12.7, 1.4 by 1.1, spiral with bar, lowercase bc, 160 million light years distant, RA 104719, declination minus 24, 2619, adventures in deep space. Ooh, that looks pretty cool right there, lowercase bc. I think we found it. Histogram adjustment. NGC 3385 with the adjusted histogram, followed by auto. Brings it out a little better. Galaxy in sextants, magnitude 12.6, 1.5 by 0.9 arc minutes, pretty obvious. Two galaxies in the field, however. This one's a lenticular spiral, likely to be this one, 1.5 by 0.9 arc minutes. They're both maybe the same size. The other one's a little smaller. 349 million light years distant. This is a biggie. RA is 104811, declination plus 45540. Histogram. This should look familiar. 3385 had a neighbor, 3386. Let's check its data out. Magnitude 14.8, yeah, definitely dimmer. 0.4 by 0.4 arc minute and smaller. This is listed as a spiral. 457 million light years distant, pretty bright. RA is 104811, declination plus 45953. Here, I'll make that on the fly adjustment and move forward. NGC 3387 was a couple of clicks away from the other two. I would assume it's further to the east, and there are some faint fuzzies there. It's a galaxy in sections, magnitude 14.8, but tiny. Whoa, 0.2 by 0.2 arc minutes. That's about the smallest NGC galaxy you'll find. Compact, 457 million light years distant. RA is 104816, declination plus 45759. I'll make that quick adjustment to the histogram and adventuresindeepspace.com, but I think it's right about there. NGC 3388 with the histogram adjusted. Let's push it up to 105x. There she be. It's also NGC 3425, which, by the way, what just happened here? Come on. Do something for me. All right. Which, by the way, I imaged last night because I skipped over this one tonight. Anyway, 3388, magnitude 13.1, 1 by 1 arc minute lenticular spiral, 299 million light years, 105125 with a declination plus 8, 3401. NGC 3391 is, ooh, there's a really faint galaxy there in Leo, but it's magnitude 12.9. Very intriguing. 1 by 0.7 arc-minute spiral with a lowercase c. 132 million light years distant, RA 104856, declination plus 141309. Let's go to an autohistogram and see what it brings it out. Boy, that looks a lot fainter than magnitude 12.9, but it may be very close to the moon. NGC 3393 is a galaxy that we are both looking to see. Oh, yeah, maybe there. Magnitude 12.2, yeah, that kind of works. 2.2 by 2 arc minutes, spiral with a bar, lowercase a, 166 million light years distant. RA 104823, declination minus 250943. The sky has actually cleared up except for the lunacy, and there is high thin water vapor up there to be illuminated. Here's a quick adjustment of the histogram and bail. NGC 3395 is a galaxy in Leo Minor, magnitude 12.1, pretty obvious on the field to begin with. There's a pair of them, however. Let's see if we can distinguish. 105X, magnitude 12.1, 1.7 by 0.9 arc minute. Now, I'm seeing something that looks pretty edge-on there, so that may not be it. Spiral with a bar, lowercase c, so we're not looking for a particularly bright core. 76 million light years distant. That doesn't really help us. RA is 104949 with a declination of plus 325852. This looks a bit too edge-on and too bright in the core. This one has an offset core. It should say something like peculiarities, but we are looking at a spiral with a bar and a lowercase c. Which one would you vote for? Anyway, I'm going to run the magnification up, and then I'm also going to adjust the histogram, and there is a decent view of NGC 3395 in front. Well, I think the mystery is revealed. This is NGC 3396, a galaxy in Leo Minor, 12.1, 2.9 by 1.2. Spiral with a bar. Yep, that works. 76 million light years distant, RA 104955, declination plus 225924. Let's, oh, I already had it at 100x. Let's drop it back down to 105 and then head out. Beautiful pair. NGC 3399, our last study of the evening. There could be a faint galaxy. There is a galaxy in Leo, magnitude 12.8, 1.7 by 1.7 arc minutes. That's too faint. Well, it is growing on us. Anything else in the field? I'm going to back out. We should be pretty close to the center of the field. We got a lot of luminosity from the moon there. I'm going to go with this one of these two here, adventuresindeepspace.com. We're going to go all the way up to 150x. 12.8, 1.7 by 1.7 lenticular spiral, 305 million light years distant. Lenticular, that means I'm going to go for that one there. RA 104927 with a declination of plus 161305. I'm going to exit on a view of a galaxy in the previous series that I did prematurely before this one, the NGC 3400 series. I'll find a good representative and then we can do comparison for our Carpe Noctem view. Okay, we're going to check out NGC 3414. It's a galaxy in Leo Minor, magnitude 11, 3.6 by 3.1 arc minutes. Pretty obvious at 30x. It is a spiral with a bar of the low lenticular class. It does have a neighbor, so let's show them both. And this is our 150x view. The bright galaxy here is 3414. This will be a little higher. And then we have a faint galaxy here and an even fainter one there. But the way to get a good view is to adjust the histograms. And then we're going to go for a longer exposure. Okay, I could not go to 30 seconds because of the amount of background light, but I have a 10-second view here. We've got 2 stacks done so far. What I'm going to do is allow a few more stacks to accumulate, and I'm going to adjust the histogram to give our best view. Stars are pretty tight tonight, so that's not bad. Okay, here are those 2 fainter galaxies, and another one here and there. Be interesting, one possibly right there. Interesting to hear what Steve Gottlieb has to say about this NGC 3414 galaxy group. They may be line of sight, so they may not actually be associated in space. Okay, so I'm now 30 minutes and 30 seconds in, and with that, I am going to say carpe noctem.